Hello, I'm Tim Kyle. I'm a photographer in the Central Texas area, and I've got a whole lot of Yongnuo flashes as well as Canon equipment, and I wanted to do a quick review of the brand new Yongnuo, however you want to pronounce it. I'll just refer to it as YN from here on out. The YN600EXs right here. I got a hold of 3 of these flash units straight from the first batch. I've also have the Canon original version. I shouldn't say the Canon version, but the original Canon 600EX. Now, the price difference on these is quite different. The YN600s are going around $180, so that's what I paid for all 3 of mine, with free shipping. Now, the Canon version is going around $500 now. That's US dollars. It was more expensive in the past, but currently at this time, you will see some YN600s going for $250 or $500. That's because Yongnuo has stopped production of the YN600 after the first batch. Just to kind of get to some quick facts right off the bat, you can keep watching, of course. I'm going to talk about all of these flashes and all the nitty-gritty details. But if you just want to know right now, do not buy the YN600EX. I had to send one back. It just flat out stopped working out of nowhere. I didn't drop it or anything like that. And they've canceled production, which can't be a good thing. However, I will say that the 2 YN600s that I have right now are working fine, and I'll go into more detail about the comparison between the 2 and some other options that you have if you want to do off-camera flash, TTL, control things from the camera menu and all that. The other thing that I want to talk about is the Yongnuo E3 Trigger. Canon, of course, has theirs as well, and Yongnuo has theirs, and it allows you to control not only Yongnuo flashes, but Canon flashes as well at the same time, groups, TTL, manual control, etc. So really great option. It takes 2 AA's, and of course these all take 4 AA's. Now you have some other options. Yongnuo also has the 622 triggers, which is what I was using previously, and as you'll see, the 622 triggers, they're pretty small. They attach to the hot shoe flash, and you are able to control your flashes. Any flash that has TTL, essentially, you're able to control them from the back of your camera menu in Canon. I shoot Canon. They also have a Nikon version. The other thing that you can do is you can actually take a flash and mount it on top while this is on your hot shoe, and you can not only control your flashes off camera but also have a flash on top. The one thing that's very difficult to do with these, it's very difficult because you can't really set, you can't group mode these flashes very easily. So if you want to mix and match TTL, if you want to have, say, your flash on top of your camera and you want other flashes, like say at a wedding reception, you want other flashes on manual mode, it's very difficult to do that with this. There's ways of doing it, but it's really tricky. It's not consistent. The other thing is, if you want to use the 600s off camera, the 600s, the Canon and the Yongnuo version, have built-in wireless transmitters. So you can control everything that you can do on the E3, you can control inside of the flash. So you don't have to deal with triggers, batteries, connections, problems there. You know, one of the downsides to these 622s is that you have to mount them on a flash stand and mount the flash on top of these. So any little jiggling or any kind of movement might disconnect or mess with the TTL or whatever. And of course you've got another set of batteries you have to put in these, and you can hit the channel button, you can hit the group button, and you can have this on or off, or something can happen here. With the flash, it's one set of batteries. There's no trigger, there's no connection, there's no cord. It's really nice, and the range is really good. So let's talk about this new YN600EX, and I'll show you some photos of some of the work that I've done with them in the last couple weeks. I've had these for about 3 weeks now. I've shot 2 weddings and, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 portrait sessions. Haven't had any issues, honestly. The main thing that you're going to notice that's different between the Canon flash is the base of the unit has a little rubber gasket. And it's the same thing with the Canon version. The Canon version, and you can see on my two young, because I actually sent one back, which, by the way, I sent it back and the guy said he would pay for the shipping and told me that there was like a recall essentially, and he said don't worry about it. I've actually they're completely gone. I haven't been able to keep the rubber weather sealing gasket on there. It's kind of like a gasket, I don't know what you would really call it, O-ring kind of. The problem with that is that little rubber piece that's on the Canon one actually helps seal and keep the flash while on your camera hot shoe a little bit stronger. So what it does is it keeps it from wiggling and moving around as much, and of course if there's moisture it helps with that. And so what I've noticed is when I keep the Yongnuo versions on my camera without this little rubber gasket thing, it actually wiggles and jiggles a little bit, and I've had it lose the TTL connection before, and I'm getting the weird exposures, and I'm like, oh, and I had to reseat the deal there. Speaking of this little connection here, it does have the snap version, so similar to Canon's, where in the past Yongnuo's older YN622EX-RT, which is their high-speed sync TTL trigger that I used to use with the 622s. It has the twist version, which works okay. The problem is it's not quick, it's not fast. If you tighten it down real hard, it's hard to like undo, especially when you have it like on a trigger. If you have it on your camera, you don't have very much room. So you're sitting there with your nail trying to do this, and I don't prefer them. However, I think if you are going to go with the snap version, what I would have wished Yongnuo would have done was actually do it right and have a proper fit here with the gasket and everything. So that's one major difference that I noticed. I'm getting confused. So this is another thing. When you look at these, I'm sitting here with them right in front of me, and I get confused which is which. You'll notice that they look very, very similar. I would say the YN version is slightly larger, slightly longer. We're talking like 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch or something. But other than that, the mold and the body type is essentially the same. The one major difference with the body type is on the Canon, you have to actually press a button to release the locking mechanism. Now it'll twist, it'll lock into place when it goes all the way around, and then you have to press the buttons to actually release it to change the angles. The Yongnuo version does not. It simply moves. Now it's rigid. I've never been in a situation where I needed it to lock, like had it go like this and have it droop over. I mean, it's not going to move. I mean, I'm really moving it. It's pretty solid. It does have the AF assist light on the front of the unit on both the YN and the Canon. Now what I did notice is the Canon version, I like their AF assist light better. It's more like, it's like a bunch of stream of lights, and it tends to work close and far, where the Yongnuo, similar to their 5.6.8s, it's like off center. It's like it doesn't really line up correctly, and it only works in like kind of like that medium range, 50 to 80 millimeter range. If you try to go real wide, sometimes it doesn't work, or if you're shooting further away, really 35 to 50 I would say actually would be your better range with the YN AF assist light. Speaking of AF assist light, the E3 transmitter for Yongnuo, which is compatible with Canon and Yongnuo, does have an assist light that works pretty good. It's not amazing, but it does have one, and it works pretty good. And you're talking about wedding receptions and things like that, you have to have one essentially. And the rubber gasket here is better. Like you can see, I can actually push it and it stays there, and it doesn't go anywhere. When I received my 600 units, 2 of them, the gasket was like in the box laying around. As you see, after 2 weeks, I can't even keep up with them. And I'm pretty hard on equipment. That's one of the reasons why I went with Yongnuo and things like that, because I drop stuff all the time, and I'm pretty tough. These 5.6.8s, I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of full power flashes on these things. They've been at wedding receptions. I've dropped this one. You can see where this is all kind of broken up here. So the 5.6.8s are great. They're a workhorse. Okay, so back to the YN600s. My thoughts on these are they are incredibly cheap. They're $180. You can buy 2 or 3 of these things for the cost of one Canon. They do all of the same functionality. They have ETTL, they do high-speed sync, they do the groups, they communicate radio wise. My thoughts on these are, and they do have the power, charger, sync ports, and all of the same stuff. So my thoughts on this is, what I've decided to do is I'm keeping the Canons, 1 or 2 of these in my bag for on camera, on the hot shoe camera, to control the other units, or to just use bounce flash if I'm just using one flash, because I primarily do weddings, so you know, receptions and getting ready and all that fun stuff. I'm sticking with the Canon for 2 reasons: the connection right here, the autofocus assist light, and that's really what it comes down to. Now for off-camera flash, I don't really care about the connection. I don't really care focus assist light. I don't care what it says on here. It works. It fires when I tell it to. I haven't had any issues with misfires or turning off or batteries or anything like that. It hasn't overheated, and I've used these for hours and hours and hours at receptions, even firing, you know, at 1/16 power, like hundreds and hundreds of times in a short proximity, which is a lot. Usually I try not to fire more than a 1/16, you know, for a long reception. But you know, I've used these guys, and I haven't had any issues at all. So my thoughts are on it is, you know, get 2 or 3 of these, have one as a backup, have a couple off camera, and then use your inexpensive Canon. Have that be your workhorse that stays on your camera, that triggers the other ones. If you don't need a flash on camera and you're doing something, say in a studio or outdoor, and you're doing everything off camera or off axis, I should say, you know, use one of these E3s. They're like 120 bucks, 130 bucks, somewhere around there. A lot cheaper. I think the Canon's like $200, $230. Get one of these. This right here, this E3, man, I haven't had any issues whatsoever. You can control everything from here. You know, I'd say it's almost an exact replica of the Canon, except you do get the autofocus assist, which is even in a studio type environment, or you have just low light and you're using flashes, you know, you don't have that backlight or that light, you know, to grab focus. So it's nice having the autofocus assist light. So yeah, overall, I've had a great success with these. Although it bothers me a little bit that Yongnuo is canceling the production of these, and they've had some recall, and I've had to send one back that just was like, worked for like a day and just died on me. And so that's a little bit troubling. So hopefully the next version, they'll fix some stuff. Otherwise, the 5.6.8s used to be the go-to. You know, they were like 170 or 180 when I bought these, and it's crazy because why would you buy this when you can get a 600? But these versions were my go-to prior. You know, good power, ETTL, high-speed sync, you know, no wireless triggers. And then if you want to go full manual, the 560s3, and then now they have the 4 that actually has a built-in transmitter. These guys work with the 603 transmitters, and I've got those somewhere sitting around. So if you want to go full manual and you want to control it from right here, and set it up on a stand or whatever. Another option, you know, if you want to go small, this is my first flash, was the YN600EX-RT. What's cool about this is it does the TTL, and it's a tiny little flash that was, you know, I used on like my Rebel camera, and it's awesome. You know, I almost don't want to get rid of it. So it's kind of a fun evolution of all the flashes here. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I didn't give you guys a whole lot of information. I didn't do a whole lot of like scientific studies with, you know, powering them up and going the distance and all that. There's some people that have already done that stuff, but overall, I you know, just in my use, I haven't noticed any issues with, you know, distance. I've used these around corners. I've used these in the night and during the day, and hot and cold. You know, we went from, you know, really, we had like a 90-degree day, and then we had a 20-degree day the next day, and the next week. So we've had crazy weather. I've had a little bit of rain. I've used these on a little bit of light, you know, water, and they've held up. Seems to work great. So anyway, guys, have a good one, and hopefully you know, they'll come out with this newer model, and they'll figure out some of these little bugs. I encourage you to subscribe or leave a comment, maybe ask a question, or, you know, get in with the discussion. I'll be putting out more videos like this in the future. You guys have a great day.